All right, local swell trackers forecast for a week out and beyond. Check it out. Here comes a winter caliber swell with 25-second forerunners Thursday. And boy, I'll tell you what, this one's going to be 18 feet at the outer reefs. And the bay will be breaking. The swell will veer north-northwest. Then after that, we get another storm coming in right here for Monday. Should be 5 to 7 from the west-northwest, an extreme westerly angle. And down under, you can see a little bit of Tasman Sea energy trying to work our way up for the weekend, but it will not be as big as the current swell we're seeing that's peaking out at about a foot overhead. But here are the current swell periods, swell trains. Of course, the dominant dealio is this swell would be very big even by December, January, February standards, and we're in spring. But don't get used to it. This probably will be the last blast if historical records are any indication. Okay, let's take a look at a hindcast, and we'll move right into the current day, but this is going back to the end of March, Sunday. This was the source of that 10-foot, 6 to 8 occasional 10-foot north swell with total stormed out conditions. Things have really tapered off as that thing spun out and is just basically leaving the area. And we've got our east-northeasterly trades back, and conditions are much, much cleaner. So away with those cold Arctic winds that this storm was pulling down. That was the reason for Monday and Tuesday. Now, here comes this storm up here, the one I'm talking about. She's got hurricane force winds, which are 65 to 75 knots in this thing. The first phase will be more northwest, and it'll be north-northwest through the phase. But the thing was so big that the surface features in the center, all the way up to the upper regions, became vertically stacked. What this does is allow the system it slows it down, and it becomes occluded, allowing the seas to develop to their full potential with these extreme winds. That's why we're going to see 25-second forerunners Thursday morning, as the swell reaches up to about 6 to 8 feet by mid-morning, and 8 to 12 plus by the afternoon, and 12 to 15, maybe 18 on the outer reefs on Friday at the swell's peak. And then, check this out. We get another spinner off of Tokyo. That one doesn't have as strong as winds, and it's far more westerly. Let's take a look at both of these storms now from the current day models. Here we go. Here's the fatty that crosses the date line with those extreme winds and leads to one of the biggest swells we've seen in a year. And here's that storm off of Japan from about 290 to about 300. So there's a percentage of shadowing from Niihau and Kauai on that guy. But it does have a captured fetch, just like this former one. That always leads to a bigger event as well. So take a look. These two back-to-back swells are just going to keep us busy. The first one's going to get us into trouble. But there's that one off of Japan. Then we quiet down. A lot of high pressures out here and troughing over the islands. But we've got to loop back and take a look at these two beauties one more time. So that second storm will be 5 to 7 minimum for the country on Monday and fading a little bit on Tuesday. Okay, now let's take a look at the South Pack. This is the fetch here that last Wednesday that led to the current system today. They take about 7 days to get here. They last a long time due to the distance traveled. As waves travel, they disperse, and through that dispersion, we get these longer-lasting events than, say, the closely generated wind swell or that, like, say, for example, that north swell when the system was only 500 miles to our north. That thing was up and then way down. These guys last a long time in general down under. This storm had two phases, this one and then another better northerly tilt or meridional flow. That'll keep us in the fun zone all the way through the end of the week. But Wednesday, Thursday will be the peak. Okay, now let's take a look at Storm Surf's current models. You see this energy over here? That's a Tasman Sea swell. And that'll be generating some of that swell train that we were showing you in the swell periods marching up our way. But it gets cheese grated from Fiji. It's got so many islands here, and it's harder to forecast. And in general, it does take away a percentage of the energy. If we didn't have Fiji up there to block, we'd have a lot more swell for Hawaii. All right, taking a look at the surface hand-drawn charts. Here's the low pressure bringing us in our huge waves for Thursday into Friday, Friday being the peak. It has pushed that high pressure over the islands, ridging closer to the islands, lightening up the winds, leading to a slight hybrid of sea breeze and east-northeast trades. There's the old low that was nearby, bringing us in the high northerly swells earlier in the week and the stormy conditions. And there's the other swell off of Tokyo, moving our way. Both of these systems, again, having a captured fetch and leading to our lighter winds. However, as this one weakens and moves up into the eastern Aleutians, we'll watch the trades come back a little bit more Thursday and Friday, and then weaken again as this next low pressure affects our weather. It veers the winds to the southeast, and that'll be through this weekend, and the North Shore loves that. Okay, now we're going to look at the jet stream here. It's pretty broken up. The long range does not look good for after these next two swells, and down under we're not looking good too after these current pattern of swell from the Taz and from the southeast of New Zealand. We are not looking that great. And again, the North Shore will see rather beautiful conditions as over the weekend from the angle of the winds, thanks to that trophiness. See how it dips over us? That's going to lighten up the winds. Here we are in a pretty dry, stable pattern with lots of storminess all around us. The jet stream flow below us and the big spinners above us. These are features 20,000 feet up. As we drill down, I'll tell you lows about 65, highs about 80. We're going to warm up to about 70 on the lows and 85 on the highs over the weekend. It will feel muggier right now. Look how dry it is. It's really been beautiful and fun to have a little south swell. Well, we got waves around the compass. Can't complain. And that's your local swell tracker. Be back next week. Be safe out there in the water, and aloha for now.